This
How
conference will
many
now be recorded.
enterprise resource planning tools are available along with SAP, right? We discussed we have Oracle, we have Tally, we have Microsoft Dynamics, we have some of the other softwares as well, like Sibyl, AS400, JD Edwards, etc. Right? So we also started with discussing the SAP. So we discussed that SAP is the full form of SAP is SAP was like systems, applications, and products in data processing. So that is what we discussed during the previous session. We also discussed about what exactly the systems meaning and how SAP is supporting various systems in flowing the data. Right. So then we also discussed what exactly the applications. We discussed there are various applications in SAP. Like we have SAP Materials Management, we have SAP Sales and Distribution, we have SAP Warehouse Management, Extended Warehouse Management, etc. So those things also we were able to discuss during our course of tenure. Then we have the products. When I say products, SAP is supporting various industry sectors, like we have seen mining sector, pharma sector, and oil and gas sector, etc. Like that, we have seen SAP was able to provide the solutions in the area of different sectors. All right, so all these, including, will be formed as a SAP. Right, so let me write it down over here. So when we say SAP, it is nothing but systems, applications, and products in data processing. Right, SAP. So systems, applications, and products in data processing. So this is what we discussed during the previous session. So why SAP is having a huge demand compared to other enterprise resource planning tools, right? Like there are various advantages of SAP. So we have disadvantage as well. So one of the disadvantage with SAP is like SAP is very costly product. Like it is a very costly product compared to any of the other software. So that is one of the major disadvantages which we have when it comes to SAP system. Then when it comes to the advantages, we have advantages are we have various advantages. So the advantage number one is SAP supports English as a language by default. Right, English as a language by default. So along with English, it also supports the country specific languages. It also supports country specific languages, country specific local languages. Right, like we have country specific languages as Germany, and we have a Spanish, like we have a Finnish, like that. So whatever maybe the country specific languages are there, all those languages were supported by SAP as a solution provider. So how it is supporting, we will see. Right, like if I wanted to log in into SAP system, so I need to download one of the user interface. Right, so you might have seen, so this is the icon by using which I will be able to log in into the SAP system. So we will be able to provide you one link. So by using that particular link, you will be able to download the SAP GUI. So this particular icon will be called as a GUI or UI. Right? When I say GUI, it is nothing but the full form is graphical user interface. Graphical user interface. Right? So we need to download the graphical user interface first from that particular link. We will give you the access once we have completed some part of our course. I think we need to complete 4 to 5 classes. If we complete 4 to 5 classes, then we will give you the access. So you just need to download this particular user interface from that particular link. Once you have downloaded, so you need to configure the server details, right? So let us say I am using this particular server. So let me see what and all the server details that are specified. So this is the application server 49.207.9.23 and we have instance that is 41 and system ID is ECC. So these are the application server instance and system ID details which we need to configure. Once we have configured, so I just need to double click on this particular icon. If I double click on it, it will be asking for the logon page. It will go to the logon page where we have to give the user ID and the password details. So when we provide the access, we will be able to provide the access to you for the user ID and the password details. Right, so the user ID that I am using is mm100. This is the user ID I am using, and the password is let us say India123. So these are the details of the user ID and the password that is being provided for me. So I will be using this user ID and the password to access the SAP. So if you see over here, the logon language is by default provided by SAP is English, right? So I just need to click on enter button to log in into SAP system. When I log in into SAP system, here I will be able to see the SAP easy access menu, by using which we will be able to do the transactions. We will be able to do the transactions in English as a language, right? So we will be able to do the transactions English as a language, right? So let us say just for your understanding purpose, I will be able to do one document. Let us say I am the user working in a procurement department. So my activity is I will be doing creation of the purchase requisition, purchase order, etc. Right? So let us say you see over here everything is mentioned as English over here. Let us say I want to create the one purchase order. How I will create? Right? So I will go to the logistics and I will go to the materials management. Then I will go to a purchasing. Then I will go to a purchase order. Then I will go to create. So I am just trying to show it to you. One document creation that is known as a purchase order. In the same way, in your day-to-day activities, you are going to create multiple documents like purchase orders, purchase requisitions, contract, scheduling agreement, purchase goods receipts, invoice, everything. So like this, there will be hundreds of transactions you will be performing as a part of your course, right? But in today's session, how SAP is supporting English as a language, I just wanted to show it to you. Like, I just want to create a purchase order. What I will do, I will go to the ME21N and enter the details of, you see over here, everything is in English, right? Like delivery / invoice, conditions, address, communication. Every node, you will be able to see it over here and create a document by using English as a language. Then I don't know the English. So I wanted to perform the transactions in SAP in my local language, German. So how I will be able to do it? Will SAP is going to support German as a language or not? We will see. So I will go to the SAP logon. In the SAP logon, let us say I wanted to log in into SAP system, right? So if I wanted to log in into SAP system, I just need to double click on it over here. But I will be able to perform the transactions only the German as a language, right? So in such cases, what I have to do, I will give the I will give the user ID over here as mm100, then password is India123, and I will be specifying the login language as a DE. DE is nothing but a German language. So right, so DE is the two-digit characteristic code which will be used to identify the language German. Right, so I will be giving DE as a logon language over here, and I will be getting into the enter button. Right, so I will click on enter button so that I will be able to get into the language with in German language. You see over here, whatever may be the transactions, I am able to see it over here. I am able to see them over here in the German language. Right, so let me see if I want to perform a transaction over here. Right, let us say I want to perform a purchase order. What I will do, I will go to the, so this is something in German language, right? But based upon my experience working with English as a language, so I am trying to navigate the path. So I will go to the logistic, then we have material, something is there. So I just need to click on it over here. Then I will go to the EINKUF to create a purchase order. I will go to the, I will again go over here and I will go to ME21N, right? So I just need to double click on ME21N so that I will be able to create a purchase order in English as a language. You see over here, I am trying to create a purchase order, but here I am able to see everything in a German language. If I know German language, I will be able to do the transactions in SAP with German as a language. So like this, if I know Chinese language, I need to log in by using a language key as Chinese. If I know Spanish, I need to log in into the, if it is a Spanish, then we also enter the Spanish language as a login language so that we will be able to perform the transactions in Spanish language as well, right? But if you want to log in with your own specific language, then we need to activate that particular language as well within SAP. So how to activate all those things will be taken care by a technical people or the basis people so that we will be able to perform the transactions accordingly in SAP. So that is the advantage number one of SAP. It supports multiple languages, not only English as a language, it also support the country specific languages known as German or Spanish, etc. Then what is the next advantage of SAP? Right, so the next advantage of SAP is we have, it also supports some of the transactions in which are common around the world, right? So there will be so many transactions which are common around the world. That is advantage number two. Advantage number two is SAP supports the business solutions which are common in around the world, right? Like some solutions are common around the world, right? Solutions which are common around the world will be addressed by SAP as a solution provider. Solutions common around the world. So like some solutions, let us say I want to buy a TV in India. So what I will do? I will go to TV showroom and I will make the payment and I will bring the TV to my home. Right? So it is, if you are going to purchase a TV in US, then what you will do? You will go to TV showroom, you will make the payment and you will bring the TV to your house. Right? So purchasing a TV is the solution is common around the world, right? Purchasing a TV and to procure a TV, the process is common around the world. So such type of solutions which are common around the world are provided by SAP as a software, right? So not only the common solutions, right? So some solutions are you have specific to a country, like tax related solutions, right? Tax solutions. Like in India, some 4 years back, we were using the tax related solution as central sales tax, VAT, etc. Right? We VAT, CST, and educational cess. Like that, we have the complex tax structure during 4 years back, right? Or 4 or 5 years back. But today, we do not have a VAT or CST or education cess. Instead, we have GST, right? Now we have the goods and services tax. So this is the solution which we have. Right? When I say GST, now we have a state GST and we have intrastate IGST, then we have central GST. Like that we have various types of GSTs, right? So presently in India, we are using the tax solution as GST, right? But 4 years back, we were using VAT, CST, and education sets, etc. So during 4 years back in SAP, to support the country-specific tax-related activities, we have some specific module in SAP that is known as SAP SIN. SAP SIN was the module which we were using during 5 years back to address the tax-related solutions of India. But nowadays, we have a GST, right? So if you wanted to address the GST, so now in SAP we have the GST solution also available, right? SAP developed a solution known as GST solution so that whatever may be the present tax structure that is required to be addressed. So SAP was able to develop a GST solution in today's tax related information to be addressed by SAP. Then at the same time, nowadays in US, so you wanted to implement a SAP project in US today, right? So US tax structure is completely different, right? Different tax structure. So that means SAP will be able to provide the solutions which are common around the world for multiple countries. It also will be able to provide the solutions for country specific legal requirements as well. When I say a country specific legal requirements, those are nothing but your your tax related legal requirements. So this is one of the major advantage of SAP system. It will support solutions which are common around the world, and it also supports the solutions which are country specific requirements as well, right? Then what is the advantage number 3 of SAP? So the advantage number 3 of SAP is it has a robust client server architecture, right? So let me tell you advantage number 3. Advantage number 3 is SAP is having a robust client server architecture. So what is a robust client server architecture? So SAP, the present architecture that SAP is using is SAP R3 architecture. This is one of the latest architecture that SAP is using it. When I say SAP R3, that is the full form of SAP R3 is nothing but R3 means real-time 3-tier architecture in data processing. So this is the latest architecture. So because of SAP R3 architecture, SAP became very much popular in the market. So what is the R3 architecture? When I say R3 architecture, it has 3 levels of data processing in its architecture, right? It has 3 layers in processing the data. We have layer number 1, and that is a presentation layer, right? It has 3 layers in processing the data. Layer 1 is a presentation layer, and layer 2 is a database layer. Layer 2 is a application layer, not database layer. Layer 2 is a application layer. And layer 3 is a database layer. So what is a presentation layer? Right, so presentation layer is nothing but presentation layer. It provides access to SAP systems, right? This is the layer where it provides access to SAP systems, so that users will be able to log in into SAP and perform the transactions. Users will be able to log in into SAP and perform transactions. Like how SAP is providing access to users, that is what we discussed just now, right? So I need to configure the server details over here. Then I need to enter the user ID and the password so that I will be able to log in into the SAP system. So this is nothing but a layer number 1, by using which we will be able to have access to the SAP transactions. Let us say MM100 and India 123. right? So I just entered user ID and the password and just logged in into the SAP system, right? So this way users will be able to have the access to the SAP system and perform the transactions. Let us say I want to create a transaction known as purchase order. I will see. So this is just for your understanding purpose. We are going to discuss these details in we are going to discuss these things in detail when we are getting into the further sessions. Right? So I just wanted to show it to you how a SAP is providing access to the users so that they will be able to perform the transactions. Let us say I want to create a purchase order, right? So I will go to the create purchase order, then go to the creation, then ME21N. So every event or the activity which I am performing will have a transaction assigned to it. We will see what is a transaction code, etc. But every transaction will have every event or the activity which I am performing in SAP will have a transaction code assigned to it. We will see what and all the transaction codes that are assigned to each and every event in SAP in our coming sessions. Right? So let us say I just wanted to click on ME21N to create a purchase order. Right? In SAP, every document will have a header level information and item overview. So this is the header level information where we will enter the header level data, and we will have a item overview and item document will have three levels of data included in it, three sections of data included in it, right? Then then let us say I want to create, I am the person working in a procurement department. I will try to create a purchase order. So I need to enter the details of the vendor. We will see what is a vendor, what is a purchase organization, what is a purchasing group, and what is a company code. So these details we need to enter over here. Then I need to enter a material number over here. I'm not sure whether we have the material number or not. Let me cross check. If we have the material number, we'll go to MMBE and the MM60 plant has 3000. Let me try to take one material that is being created. I will take material number 2, right? So here you see the material number that got created is 2. I will take 2. I will enter the material number over here as 2. Then quantity, then price, then plant, then storage location. Right? So like this, I need to enter all the details of the I need to enter all the details individually over here so that we will be able to save a purchase order, right? So this is one of the transaction which I am performing by using SAP Access. So this particular layer where I am able to perform the various transactions will be called as a presentation layer. Then what is a application layer? So application layer is nothing but a back-end programming part by using which I will be able to perform a various transactions. So application layer is a back-end programming part, back-end programming part. where multiple programs are executed based on transaction performed. Right? So like in SAP, there are multiple programming languages, right? Like you have a Java, Java plus plus, C, C plus plus, etc. Right? In the same way, in SAP also, if you are performing the transactions, so there are various programs that are getting triggered in the backend. Like the programming language that is being used in SAP is, we will call it as ABAP. So when I say ABAP, it is nothing but the full form of ABAP is Advanced Business Applications Programming Language. Programming language. So like you have C, C++, Java, right? In the same way in SAP also, if I wanted to perform a programming, so I will write the language as a ABAP language, which is called as a application programming language. This is the one of the programming language which will be used in doing transactions within SAP as a programming. So I will just try to show it to you how a program is getting triggered. Let us say I just remove this particular net price over here and click on enter. So then my system is saying net price must be greater than 0. Means if you want to save a purchase order, or if you want to create a purchase order, right? You need to enter the price mandatorily. Without entering the price, you will not be able to save this particular PO, right? That is what it is mentioning. So without entering a price, you will not be able to save a PO, right? So how it is saying, there are various backend programs which are getting triggered and trying to validate this particular PO, right? So there are various application programs in the backend which are trying to trigger and trying to validate this particular PO as a application layer. I just wanted to show it to you one PO or one program for your just representation purpose. So I will go to the /h mode over here and I will enter. I click on enter. So here you see, so these are the programs which are getting triggered in the backend. You see, so this is the program which is being created and developed by SAP to trigger a PO related activities. Right, but we should not worry about a program how it is being created. So this will be taken care by a technical consultant. But if you have a knowledge on programs, so that is well and good. There are various places where a program debugging should be written, right? So if you are able to read the program, then it is well and good as a functional consultant as well. It is a added advantage, right? So like we have, so this particular place where a multiple programs are getting executed in the backend will be called as a application layer, right? So like this, there are multiple programs which are getting written in the backend. Then what is a database layer, right? So application layer is nothing but a backend programming part where a multiple programs are getting triggered. Then what is a application layer, right? Application layer is nothing but a database tables where multiple data which you have created are getting stored in the format of SAP tables. Right, so let us say I created a purchase order just now. Right, I just try to save it. So let me save the purchase order. Right, so let me come out of these things, like I need to come out of these programs. Let us say I am trying to create a purchase order. Right, I will enter all the details of the purchase order over here. I will enter a vendor number, I will enter a purchase organization, purchasing group, and the company code. I will also enter a material and quantity, price, and plant and storage location. I will also enter a currency. Right, so then I saved it. Right, so when I saved it, there are various backend tables, right, which will be getting updated with the purchase order which I have created. Let me try to save it. So I try to save it. So a purchase order number, that is a purchase order number, that is 45000, right? So a purchase order number 45000 22449 is now created, right? So when I save a purchase order, I saved this particular purchase order, right? So whatever may be the data that I have entered while creating a purchase order is stored under a database tables. Like in case of the purchase order, we have two types of database tables, that is EKKO is the header level table of the purchase order. Header level table for the purchase order data storage. And EKPO is the item level table, item level table for the purchase order data. Right, so EKKO is the header level table and the EKPO is the item level table for the purchase order data. So I will go to the system. So I will go to one of the transaction that is known as SC11, and I will input the table as EKKO, that is a header level table. So I will go to the display and I will go to the EKKO, not EEKO. I just click on display. I will go to the contents. I will enter the purchase order number 45000 22449. Right, so I just need to click on execute button. You see, whatever may be the details I entered, like the vendor number 3006, right, and vendor number 3006, right, like we have a purchase organization 3000, purchasing group 000, right, whatever may be the details I have entered at the header level, I will be able to see in this particular table. Also the item level details, right? If I go to EKPO, there is one more table that is known as EKPO. If I go to EKPO, and click on enter button. I will go to the contents. I can enter. I will go to the contents. I can enter the purchase order number over here. I will be able to see the item level details over here, like what is the material number, right? So I enter the material number as 2, right? So material number and I entered as 2, and the plant I entered as 3000. So all those details are getting updated in the item level details of the purchase order, right? So these are the item level details of the purchase order which are getting updated. So these are nothing but the database tables. So in SAP, the data is getting stored in the database tables in the row-based format and the column-based format. What is row-based format and what is column-based format, we will see in our coming sessions. In SAP, data storage is in the format of SAP table. SAP table, right? So in SAP table, the data will be stored in the format of column based and the row based format. Column and row based format. So we will come to know what is a row based format and what is a column based format in our coming sessions. Right? So any doubts or clarifications on these three layers, right? So because of the layer number 1, which is known as a presentation layer, and layer number 2, which is known as a application layer, and the layer number 3, which is known as a database layer, SAP became very much popular. So because of this, the speed of the system will not get impacted. Let us say, if you take an example of the Indian Railways, right? So in the Indian Railways, how many people are there? In Indian Railways, there are 11 lakh employees are there. So if you take Indian Railways, at any moment of time, at least some 30,000, 40,000 people will be working upon SAP, right? Even though 40,000 or 50,000 people working upon SAP, the performance of the system will not get impacted. If 10 people are working upon, it will give the same result. If 1,000 people are also working, so it will give you a same results for the transactions which you are doing in the system, right? So the system speed will not impact based upon the number of users that are working upon it. Why it will not impact? Because the architecture that is known as layer 3 architecture is developed in such a way, even though multiple people are working upon it, so you will not be able to, even though multiple people are working upon it, the system will give a speed and performance is quite good. So this is nothing but a layer number 3, right? Because of the 3-layer architecture, SAP became very much popular in the ERP world. Are you able to understand what is a R3 architecture? Are any clarifications? Sandeep or Deekshita? Sandeep, can you hear me? Are you able to understand? Can you hear me? I cannot hear you. Hello? Can you hear me?
Sir,
Yes.
yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay. Are you able to follow?
Yes,
Or do
sir.
you have?
Sir, actually, I am 2019 postdoc. Is there any chance for ఫ్రెషర్గా వెళ్ళడానికి ఏమైనా ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుందా నాకు?
అంటే 2019 అంటే 20, 21, 22 3 years అయిపోయింది కదా.
అవును సార్.
Right. So, but why are you planning to go as a fresher? Why can't you go as a experienced person, at least 3 years experience in SAP?
అన్- ఓకే, అంటే ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ దొరుకుతుందా లేదా అని.
ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళకే జాబ్స్ ఈజీగా వస్తాయండి వితౌట్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ కన్నా.
ఓకే ఓకే, అంటే
Yeah.
ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అంటే బయట ఎలా తీసుకోవాలంటే ఏమైనా గైడెన్స్ అట్లా ఇస్తారా సార్?
ఆ గైడెన్స్ అవి ఇస్తాము. ఎస్ ఎస్.
ఓకే
ఓకే.
సార్.
యా. సో yeah, but you need, since you passed out during 2019, right? So you need to
ఎస్
get
సార్. అట్లీస్ట్
you
ఫర్
need to
3 years
join
అని
as a,
పెట్టండి.
yeah.
ఓకే
ఏంటండి?
సార్. అంటే అట్లీస్ట్ ఒక 3 years అన్నా పెట్టాలి కదా, ఒకవేళ ఫ్రెష్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్గా వెళ్ళాలి అనుకుంటే.
Yes. Okay, so
ఓ-
if you joined as a experienced person, then the getting the job is quite easy.
ఓకే సార్.
Okay, so are you working somewhere or you still not working?
ఐఎమ్ స్టిల్ నాట్ వర్కింగ్ సార్, యాక్చువల్లీ ఐ ప్రిపేర్ ఫర్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఎగ్జామ్స్.
Okay.
సో ఇప్పుడు సాఫ్ట్వేర్ వైపు వెళ్దామని.
Okay.
ఓకే.
Okay then. So yeah, you at least some 3 years of experience we have to put, then you will get it. There is a chance, no problem.
ఓకే సార్.
Okay, so then what about Sandeep? Are you able to understand?
సార్,
Yes.
సార్ ఒకవేళ 3 years ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ పెట్టిన వర్క్లో అట్లా ఏమన్నా ప్రాబ్లం వస్తుందా సార్?
No. 3 years experience means you are still at the learning stage only. In a
ఓకే.
SAP is a a vast solution, right? So 3 years people will be considered as a almost freshers only in SAP world.
ఓకే సార్.
Yeah. So better to go ahead and do by having 3 years experience. You can put it.
ఓకే సార్.
Yeah. Then Sandeep, do you have any doubts or clarifications? Okay then. So I think maybe he is having some problems. So this is the advantage number 3 of SAP system. Then what
ఓకే.
is advantage number 4? Okay, so the advantage number 4 of SAP is, so advantage number 4 of SAP system is it has a very good security controls, right? It has very good security controls. So means, let us say I am the person working in a procurement department. I should only have access to the transactions related to a procurement. I shouldn't be having access to the transactions related to the finance related activities, right? So I should have access only to the procurement related activities. I shouldn't be having access to the finance related activities, right? In such cases, how I will control the access, unauthorized access to a particular person? So there is something known as roles and authorizations matrix, right? So there is some functionality known as roles and authorizations matrix, by using which you will be able to restrict the access to the unauthorized transactions. Means, like, I will have only the procurement related activities, procurement related transaction access. Since I am the person working in the procurement, I will have only procurement related transaction access. I will not be having access to a finance or unauthorized transactions. No finance access. How this will be controlled? This will be controlled via a roles and authorization matrix related activities. So the security controls are
Yes.
very high in case of SAP software, right? But this the roles and authorizations matrix is the activity of the security consultants. We are not going to. So this is the activity of the security consultants. So we are not going to do anything in this as a consultant. The security consultants people will take care of the security related activities. Advantage number 5. So the advantage number 5 of SAP is SAP has, like, we are trying to learn SAP right? So we people will be called as a SAP functional consultants, right? So as a functional consultant, we need not to write a coding, right? Like, no need of writing a coding, no need to write a code, right? We have separate category of the people who will be writing the coding or the new program development. But we as a functional consultant, no need to write a coding. So if any person who doesn't have knowledge on writing a code, who don't want to write a code, instead he still wanted to jump his career from manufacturing organizations to IT industry, so they can go ahead and learn the modules like SAP SAP SD, SAP Finance, such type of functional modules they can learn, and they should be able to switch their career from the manufacturing sector to the IT world. So this is one of the major advantage of learning a functional modules like SAP etc. Okay, so we will stop the session here today and we will continue tomorrow, right? So if you have any doubts on today's session, we can discuss at least 1 or 2 minutes.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
yes, I can hear you.
Sir, can you hear me, sir? Sandeep.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Sir, actually, yesterday I have not attended the class, sir.
Yesterday no class
So
was
is
there.
there any?
So yesterday no
So
class.
first class, sir.
This
First
is the
class, sir.
first. Oh, first class you are not able to attend.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we are still discussing the initial sessions only. No problem. We will share you the
Okay, okay.
link. All right, we will share you the demo link which we have taken on the previous class, so that you can go through that. If you
Okay,
have
sir.
any
Okay.
doubts, you can ask me.
Okay, okay.
Okay then. So do you still have any doubts?
Sir,
No,
when
sir.
will the perfect classes will be start, sir?
So this is a continuation. We will continue subsequently, right? Our team will get back to you.
Okay, sir.
Done,
Okay.
sir. Done, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay then. Okay then. Thanks a lot for joining the call. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Bye. I am closing the session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.